皆さん、こんにちは, and welcome to Shogo's podcast. So today, guys, this is another episode that is related to Iaido and also that I am very, very sad, frustrated, annoyed. All this emotions put together, but I definitely wanted to share this with you, and I believe as a Iaido trainee, I think that this is another really big problem that's happening right now in the world of Budo, especially in the bigger associations or organizations. And again, someone might listen to this and I might get in trouble someday, but in that case I'm willing to quit immediately because this is the truth and I'm willing to speak the truth. I won't be talking about any specific names or pointing out this person did this or anything. I don't want to be hurting anyone, but I do want to point out the facts. Yeah. So this is something I do want to share with you. Now, let's jump into the main topic right away. So basically, just 2 days ago, I took part in an event basically that was held by the All Japan Kendo Federation Iaido clubs. Well, in the Kyoto branch, basically, kind of thing. And basically, it was an event called the Transfer Training Session or Transfer Training Course. So, in the All Japan Kendo Federation Iaido Club, there are the 12 standard kata. 12 standard kata I've explained many times in my live streams, in my videos. It's called Seite Iai, the standard katas. And because a lot of people train together and it's been trained for a very, very long time, some of the detailed parts of the 12 standard kata, whenever they're done at competitions or whenever they're done at the shinsa, which are the exams for you to go up to the next level and you're done, rank system in Iaido. Of course, there are some of the points that the referees, the judges will look out for, right? So if those points, for example, change or if they go back to how it was, or if they adjust things, they would hold these training sessions to tell the people in the lower ranks. The higher ranked people will have a discussion about we should maybe change this move to this. Like, really, it's very strictly defined. Like, this move, for example, this kata, you need to have this hand at this angle, your feet needs to be at this position. All this kind of stuff is very strictly defined because, again, the 12 standard kata are created so that various different ryuha existing in Iaido can all train together and compete and take exams together. So it needs to be very, very very precisely defined in order for everyone to train together in the first place, right? Because there are different ryuha styles trained together. So that's a good thing. That's not the problem I'm trying to point out here. The very big problem about the training session that I went to, there were about, I would say there were not 100 people, maybe. There were students in the Iaido clubs of their universities. There were, of course, adults training at regular dojos. There were sensei class, instructor class people joining too. And there were maybe less than 100 people. And basically how it started was that there was two very high rank sensei in front of everyone, doing each kata of the 12 standard kata, beginning with the bowing towards the sword, bowing towards the dojo and everything. And one sensei was explaining the things that has been decided within the higher rank sensei, and one person was demonstrating it basically. And all of the lower rank people like me were watching, them doing the demonstrations and the other people explaining. Now, while these two younger sensei were doing the demonstrations, there were the top class people who were in the top class rank in Iaido and also were responsible, the top rank in the organization itself, in the Iaido organization itself of Kyoto. There were some of the main instructors in the front sitting on chairs and with a long desk. They're like sitting in the front like leaders, and they were watching. And the 100 of us were sitting on the floor to watch. The two instructors doing the demonstration in the middle. And so it starts from here. Basically, one of the elderly sensei, all three of the people in the front, the top class sensei, who are also leaders of the organizations, they're all very old. And one of the sensei, while the two younger higher rank sensei were doing the demonstration, one of the senseis sitting in the middle of the long table, sitting along with two other highest rank sensei, were like, as the two people were demonstrating, explaining using a microphone, he was constantly like, what is this guy doing? While all of the younger students, while me, for example, can hear in a really loud voice, he was saying, oh my gosh, is this really a proper demonstration? Has this guy actually been training, And he's been constantly be saying this in a really loud voice that everyone can hear. But of course, the two instructors can't stop, So they just kept on going. And this situation is already very, very stressful. And he's like laughing, He's like, what the heck is this guy doing? And he's like constantly saying that with every move that they're demonstrating in the middle of the room. The very big room, by the way. Yeah, of course, it's a huge, dojo. It is a dojo. It's a really big hall almost. Yeah. It's somewhere that you can probably almost have like 2 basketball courts. Yeah, it's really big. But they were that old sensei was saying that, and he was like constantly saying complaints about how terrible the demonstration is. By the way, although the two sensei are young, they are probably in the top rank. They're in the 8th dan, so that's the top rank of Iaido. So it is of course beautiful, very beautifully done, and that's what the old sensei was constantly saying during the demonstration. And once the demonstration ended, he stood up and said, we need to redo everything. What you just explained, we need to redo everything. Now, why he was so angry is because on that day on the transfer training session, there was this sheet of paper that was handed out to all trainees like us. That sheet of paper basically included all of the exclamations about detailed information about how to do each kata of the 12 standard kata. Now, we need to know that for the 12 standard kata, there is almost this Bible book. It's this instruction book for the 12 standard kata where all of the important information are written in. So every rule, every new decision needs to be made on behalf of, or should I say, based on that book that everyone goes back to. It's called the Kyoto. Yeah. So this new piece of paper was created by another 8th dan sensei who I'm not familiar with. He basically created that extra study material he made on his own, so that because the original book, which is, the very important one that includes all the basic information that everyone needs to go back to, so the rule book, doesn't include that much information. So it doesn't explain to you about the very, very detailed movements and such. So it does explain about the situation. It does explain certain points, but there are some points that are still vague and ambiguous. So some people, depending on the dojos, would do these parts differently because there aren't anything written in between the lines, if that makes sense. So there was a sensei that wanted to add a little bit to the book, not directly into the book, but by making different study materials, this sheet of paper, by making it, he wanted it to be easier to understand for beginners. That was his point. However, it seems that between the 8th dan senseis, the instructors, they still haven't been able to completely agree on what was written on this new sheet of paper, because there were a lot of information included that is, first of all, incorrect. The elderly sensei, who was complaining the whole time during the demonstration, stood up after the demonstration ended and said, we need to redo all of this. Let's talk about this sheet of paper. I'm reading this along with all of our other students here. Let's start from this one. This is written incorrectly. This doesn't make sense. Let's take a look at the Kyoho in the book, the rule book. The rule book says here, this says this phrase in this expression. That means this is incorrect. This is also incorrect. This is also incorrect either, and this doesn't make any sense at all. This isn't even yai anymore, and all that kind of stuff. He started pointing out all the problems that were included in that sheet of paper. And in the end, I do want you to understand that the points that this elderly sensei instructor, elderly man, he would be like a random man, the elderly sensei pointed out were very, very, from my point of view at least, were very accurate and correct. Yeah. So the extra sheet of paper that was created by some other 8th Dan sensei did have a lot of flaws, to be honest. So what he pointed out were true. I was like, yeah, because in the beginning, because he was this person that was complaining the whole time in a really loud voice, and almost making fun of, mocking the two tensei that were doing the demonstrations. And I was a little bit, that's really stressful, right? It doesn't sound right. I mean, that's, from my point of view, that's not what a Budo martial artist should do. That's not the attitude that a Budo martial artist should have. So I was like, I was really, really uncomfortable. But after he actually started explaining everything, it all made sense. And as so far from what I've explained, I'm pretty sure you can understand now. Number one, again, as I said, he shouldn't be complaining the whole time during demonstration. If he is much older than the two sensei during the demonstration, he should have stopped it immediately. And if he's not going to be stopping immediately, and if he wanted to say something at the very end, he should have just stayed quiet during the whole demonstration, because the about the hundred, dozens of people who are listening would not be able to concentrate, and feel very uncomfortable and almost sick listening to that the whole time. And number two, if that sheet of paper, the extra material that was created by this different 8th Dan sensei, and if it has such a lot of flaws that the other senseis and us like trainees would be like, yeah, that's true, why did they hand it out? Why didn't they check it before handing it out with all of the other 8th Dan sensei? It seems that there are, different groups within the 8th Dan instructors or the higher rank instructors. There's this group who believes in this. There's this group who follows this different sensei. All of these different groups, and they're probably fighting each other. There's some groups within the higher rank senseis that don't get along, and it seems that one group tried to force their way of teaching to all the people in Kyoto, and there were other senseis who were against that, and they basically did this fight, in front of all of the other trainees who should be looking up to them. And I was like, wow. I hope what I'm explaining made sense. It's a really long story. I'm really sorry, but I was just really, really re-shocked. I mean, this kind of experience experienced many times, before, especially related to the All Japan Kendo Federation, the Iaido Club. A lot of people point out that basically the organizations, the society of Budo martial arts, some parts of it are starting to rot, people literally say. And to be honest, I have to agree with that. I actually made a full video in the past explaining that I hate Iaido, And this is definitely a part that I do really hate about Iaido. It's not just about Iaido or Budo martial arts. It could be about all the other Japanese traditional culture. And there's a lot of these things that happen. What they explain as the purpose of training Iaido, and what the top ranked people who are supposed to be the ones who are pursuing that goal of Iaido, of becoming a better person, becoming mentally stronger, physically stronger, becoming a good leader, all of these things that they say in the rule book that they cherish so much. Are they doing a good job at it? Making fun of each other in front of all their other, younger students? Would all the other younger students look up to them? Would they want to be like them in the future? Would they continue training? Are they having fun? I just really thought that, I seriously, on that day, right now, I'm not really rushing to do it or anything, but on that day, I seriously thought I really would be happy to walk away from that situation and say goodbye to belonging to such an organization in the first place. I still will continue, probably, unless I get kicked out. Maybe someone will literally listen to this podcast. Maybe it'll become a problem. I'll be happy to leave, because I'm not lying. This is true. This is a truth that literally happened. This is what we suffer from, the people of the lower ranks. We don't have any voices. We don't have any right to say anything to the high rank senseis, but still we have to suffer from this. I will be happy to leave immediately if someone points this out for me. But still, I know that the 12 standard kata are one of the most popular Iaido trainings that a lot of people do around the world. And I do want to have a deeper understanding of the 12 standard kata, because a lot of people are doing it. And when someone asks me questions about it, I want to be able to answer it. So I won't be quitting immediately, but still, it just was a very, very sad, frustrating, annoying, uncomfortable experience for me. And I just wanted to say that these are the things that I always say, evolve about Japanese traditional culture. I don't understand how some people, Japanese people, can believe that their, culture is so noble and holy with all of these, I can't believe this happened. We all paid money to take part in that transfer session. And we received the study material. We took part in it. And in the end, there was a different sensei that pointed out that this material is useless, basically, because it's all wrong. What was today for then, right? What was this day for? I'm a pretty busy person, as you guys know. And I'm not free to be wasting a few hours of my day. I have a family to take care of. I have a business to run, So I was like, I think you really understand how frustrated I am right now. It's been 60 minutes since I started recording this, and but still, I did want to somehow record my feelings because this is something I really need to fight with, But I'm really, really glad that I belong to my second Ryuha, the Yushinkan, right now, because if this was the only Ryuha that I belonged to, I probably would be really, really stressed and such. But right now, I'm happy that the Yushinkan will absolutely accept me from now on too. So because they know about all the activities that I do, they know about the things that I talk about on my channel and such. So yeah, I just wanted to tell you about this. And if you've experienced anything similar, it doesn't have to be related to martial arts or anything, any organization that you belong to, please let me know in the comments. Please let your frustration explode in the comments too. I'll be happy to accept and read them because you were kind enough to listen to this too. Thank you so much for your time. I'm really, really sorry if this made you feel a little bit negative too. I will be using this as a fuel for me to keep on moving, to keep myself motivated, that I really feel that something needs to change in Japan. I'm not just complaining and just giving up. I'm using this as fuel. So I hope you understand that too. Yeah. And my second daughter probably fell down and crying now, but I guess it's about time I have to go. So then everyone, as I always say, the ultimate goal of my life is to make all Japan lovers' dreams come true. So I know there's a lot of people studying Japanese willing to come to Japan to travel, study, or work, or even train our traditional culture and such. However, I am very afraid that Japan will not be able to make everyone's dreams come true in the future because we're facing a lot of social problems, we are losing our traditional culture, and the younger generations who are supposed to be carrying on the good things about Japan are dying because of all the social issues being shoved against them. So I really want to dedicate my life trying to make Japan a better place. I want to try to solve the social problems, preserve and evolve traditional culture, and also help out the younger generations so they can have a better future. And to do this right now, the nearest goal I have right now is to to raise money to become a Japanese language instructor. I opened up a Ko-fi page recently, which is a very similar platform to Patreon, which is a donation platform. I'm raising money right now to become an official Japanese language instructor, so I'll be able to make more videos and live streams about Japanese to enjoy learning the language too. It'd be great if you can check out the Ko-fi page from the description box or the comments. Okay guys, thank you so much for listening to such a long podcast. I really hope you have a nice day, and please let me know your opinions in the comments. Bye bye.